She's purring, although not the happiest. Last time I tried to show her in a video, she growled at me. And I edited that out. Well, part of the reason I'm showing you the cat is because I don't feel like I have a lot of doll stuff to show. One of the bigger things I did doll-wise since last week's video was I pulled about 15 dolls off my shelves. I know you can't tell because most of them are down there. I mean, there's some dolls missing here, but I'm going to show you them in the video because I changed their clothes. But mostly I took dolls and I fit them more into the boxes that I already have down here on the bottom shelf of this bookshelf, along with other boxes of things that I honestly probably should empty out and just put boxes of dolls here. Like I said, I'm getting into this whole don't sell them as soon as I lose interest in them. Put them in a box and maybe I can rediscover them. Or sell them on in a few years, or however long before I decide this experiment's over. So anyway, some of the dolls I decided to not necessarily, I couldn't decide if I wanted to put them in a box or not, so I changed their clothes. And one of them, Chip. She will hurt you, Chip. Chip's not sure about the floof. And the floof's not sure about Chip. They mostly keep their distance from each other. Yes, he's going back to his spot under my desk. They mostly keep their distance from each other. Sometimes they'll be very close to each other when they're either united in waiting for food or if it's extra cold, we have a space heater out. Right, Chip? And sometimes they'll chase each other from one end of the house, and when they stop running, there's not growling, so I think they're almost playing, but not, because they're both used to, yes, Chippy, they're both used to being the only cats. So it's going better than we thought it might. Because if you've ever tried to introduce a new cat to an old cat, it doesn't always go well. Right, kitties? Chippy, do you want to be in the video? No. Okay, again, lack of dolls. So this is one of the dolls I wasn't sure if I wanted to put her in storage or leave her out, so I changed her clothes. And also, that What's-Her-Face doll I thrifted, that weird Mattel doll with no face. Chip. Leave her alone, Chip. Are you sniffing her? I can't quite see them because I have the big reflector there that I don't think is actually reflecting light onto me. That's in the way. Anyway, the shoes from the What's-Her-Face. Some What's-Her-Face dolls have very big feet, and they actually fit this Hasbro Moana. They're a little big, a little not quite right for her feet, but considering this is a doll who was made not to wear shoes at all, you've got to be, you take what you can get with the shoes that you can find for her. So I changed her clothes. I have had some people commenting on the pictures on Instagram about her dress. A few years ago, I thrifted a stack of 4-inch squares of cotton in various prints, and I had a lot of fun mixing and matching the prints to see which ones coordinated, and then seeing how I could put them together to be enough cloth to make a dress. And this is one of those. There's like 3 prints on the skirt, and then another print up here. You can see I matched this one. Again, you know I say if you sew it together, it goes together, but sometimes I try to have themes. And this one was a sort of vegetable, floral, plant theme with a relatively limited color palette and black background. Like I said, I do put thought into my themes sometimes, and other times I just throw cloth together, and it seems to work either way. So if you want to sew mixed prints, just mix them. If you don't explain your process behind them, people will assume you had a good reason, even if all you did was close your eyes and grab two, which I really should do that too. So another doll that I wasn't sure if I wanted to put in storage or not, so I changed her clothes, was this Cutie M Party Girl head on, or Cutie M Life is Party Girls Society Beauty head that I put on a Live Body painted white that doesn't really match. But I put her in the... Somebody gave me this print like 15 years ago, this Surf Monster print. And I have been metering it out because it's, you know, I don't want to use it all, but it's fantastic. I think it has a 1987 copyright on the selvage. It's just so odd. So I was happy to put it on this doll. Again, not sure if I'll keep her out a lot or put her in a box. Like I said, in the past I would have broken it down, taken the head, put it in storage, and then said, and you would do it with the body, but I'm trying to be better. I still have my box full of heads in the trunk under this desk, and I still have my box full of bodies there. And I could probably just put heads on bodies and then put the complete dolls away, and I still wouldn't make a dent in all the bodies and heads I have that are waiting for work. So part of the reason I feel like I might not have a lot to show you is because I did not stop at the thrift store at all today. And I am still suffering a little bit from the fallout of being sick. So I did not thrift today because I have plenty of dolls that I can use to make new dolls. I just need to do it. But, you know, I did thrift last week and I found all those vintage, well not all, but I found those pieces of vintage doll clothes. So I had fun dressing some dolls in that. Like that shirt that I still have the skirt to, but I thought it would be fun to pair with jeans on a more modern looking doll. Maybe. Of course, it doesn't sit right. Not only because modern doll bodies are built differently from 1980s Barbie bodies, but also because this cloth just, if I wash it a bunch, it might drape enough. But it's supposed to be big and giant, like she has shoulder pads, so they got that good. So there she is, casual with jeans. And then her girlfriend Marty, this dress is so ridiculous because, again, it's a strapless, roughly orange and white, kind of almost animal print but not strapless, poly cotton blended dress. I don't know if anybody but Barbie ever wore that kind of thing. And then this knit, wrap, shrug, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, was another thing I thrifted, and I thought, you know what, I thrifted them at the same time and they kind of go together. And just because I like mixing colors, oddly, these are the shoes she was already wearing, which actually I think it's funny to put her in these shoes because they're a lot like the original Tiffany Taylor and Tuesday Taylor shoes. So anyway, these are the two who usually sit right here. And then I decided to take another doll and put her in clothes I thought were better suited, and that's Opal here. I had her in a Monster High dress just basically to show what the size of the body is, almost Monster High size. And it had a like metallic cutout drip that was almost the same green as she has. So I did that just to coordinate, but I knew from the start that I wanted her to wear black or black and white. So she's in this. What she's wearing, this is actually a romper. So I used to make a lot of rompers. So she has like built-in bloomers. And I'm not sure where this skirt is from. Somebody gave it to me in a trade bonus kind of thing. So, another doll dressed. And then real fast, I showed you that my Tiffany Taylor I made the green lace tights for. So I wanted to just use up the rest of the green lace. I ended up using most of it, not all of it. The very first thing I ever wanted to make as soon as I saw that green lace, which I got in when I had a doll meetup here, when we swapped unwanted materials. So I got the green stretch lace from a swap. And the first thing that I ever thought of sewing from it were BJD lacy tights. So we have these. And unlike the tights I sewed for Tiffany Taylor, purely eyeballing things, I used a pattern for this, so they actually fit correctly. Even Stella's big body. And so I did not use all of the cloth up with this pair of tights. I had a lot of long thin pieces that I thought, well, I can make Barbie size tights or stockings or socks out of those, and I might still do it, but there was a rectangular piece that my brain looked at and said, you know, I think there's enough there to make a bodysuit for Curvy with that pattern that I've shared. And of course my brain replied back, it's like, no, this cloth is too stretchy and thin and weird. You will not be happy trying to sew something even that complicated from it. And my other brain said, no, it'll be fine. And actually, it was fine. I could make things a little more accurately and take a little care on some stuff, but it turned out pretty well, not too infuriating to make. She's wearing an older Barbie swimsuit that was stretchy enough to fit Curvy under it for modesty. So then I made this and I thought, well, she needs a skirt. And I went through my skirts, and most of the stuff I have that just can happen to fit Curvy fits really high up on the waist, and I didn't want that. I wanted something that was low-waisted and equally bright, although I didn't have anything else as bright as this green, well, besides the orange lace that I got from the same source. It's the same stuff that will eventually turn into doll leggings and tights probably. So I threw this skirt together. I cut it out freehand, not even an inkling of a pattern, and I started sewing it together, and it started fitting better than I thought it would. So I kind of laid the pieces out and tried to trace them. So I might eventually make a pattern to share out of this whenever I'm back in the mood of making patterns to share. But this is pretty much the vague idea of an outfit I had in mind when I started sewing this. Since I eyeballed the skirt, it's what I cut out was probably a little shorter than it could have been, so that's why I did the lace edging and fold it over. When I make the pattern, I plan to extend it so that the finished length, when sewn without cheating like I did with the lace, will be about this long. I know there's a ton of Barbie clothes, official Barbie clothes. Like I actually got in and I saw the Hello Kitty, the bigger boxes of the Hello Kitty stuff today. I haven't seen the separates, so I didn't buy anything because the separates are what I'm interested in. But I know those fit Curvy, but they're designed to fit Curvy and tall and original and petite to some extent. So it's not a custom fit for Curvy. And that's why I like making things like this bodysuit. I mean, this bodysuit is only going to work on Curvy when you're staying with Barbies. When you go into the realm of female action figures, it might fit them, but that's like this whole other world that I'm not up to date on anyway, because my time of female action figures is when they made like cool girls who are all hard plastic, and now when you start looking at female action figures, they all have at least a little bit of rubbery parts on them, and I don't want that. That's too hard to dress. Anyway, so I like the idea of making things for Curvy that fit Curvy. They're tailored to Curvy, which is why I want to make this low-waisted skirt that probably won't fit anybody but Curvy. But it shouldn't be too hard. I'm going to omit this center front seam. I just wanted it on here as a design detail. So if I make the pattern, we'll omit the center front seam, and it should be a pretty easy, pretty quick skirt for Curvy, and I hope you can find it useful. And I think that's everything. Like I said, I got some thanks stuff sent out today. I still have more thanks things to send, and there's just some of my doll friends in general I want to send some stuff. Oh, I did find this when I ran into a thrift store last week. I mean, all I picked up was a sewing pattern. A sewing pattern, and this, which these are complete set of McCall's Carefree Color Transfers. From what year? 1974. Of course, you're looking through the paper, so the colors aren't going to be quite as vibrant. So, some of these might find their way onto doll clothes. eventually, especially these planets and those hearts. I mean, the bunnies will be good too, but they're a little large. They might work on BJD clothes. But, you know, my default is Barbie size. So I got that. I got a pattern that may or may not be a good idea for me. And I got this gal, who is a Pinacosaurus. Pinacosaurus. Some kind of ankylosaur. So this will also eventually be some ridiculous pastel pearl colors, just whenever I'm in the mood again to airbrush. And then those will probably eventually, some of them at least, be offered for sale or trade. Because while I do like making pastel prehistoric animals, I don't need that many in my life, but they are fun to make. And now I think that's everything that I have to talk about. I always have plans. Like now that I'm finishing up the first round of thanks sewing. There were a few more people who I want to start sewing thanks sewing stuff for. And I've had a few things laid out on the dresser back there that I want to sew together for my dolls, including cloth that people have sent me. So I will sew that together. And I keep saying I'm going to wrap up working on doll sewing for a while and start working on human size sewing, but that obviously hasn't happened yet because doll sewing is just so fast and so satisfying to get stuff done in not only a day but just a few hours. But eventually I will be sewing some human size stuff, which I may or may not share here. And I have a huge stack of dolls that I want to reroute, and hopefully I'll be in the mood to do that again soon. And as I try to cut back on acquiring things from the thrift store, since I like to have stuff to share in the videos, that will hopefully encourage me to make more stuff and finish more stuff and start more projects. And I know you guys like watching my videos because you say so, thank you very much, but I like the fact that since I want to have things to share, that encourages me to make stuff. So I guess it's a give and take, and it works out for all of us. Thanks for watching. And here's Chip.